welcome to Devils United. We are doing a watch-along today for Germany versus France. I've got two good guests here who's actually doing the first stream together, actually. I'll go with you. Andy, how are you?
Not too bad. It's good. Obviously, getting the big guns out for the semi-final, obviously. No, it's good to have obviously Germany represented as well with Reece and put a face to the name because he's in the comments a lot of the time when we do our women's football show.
Mm-hmm. He is. Reece, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well, and yeah, put face to the name, put words to the voice, bring it on.
Hi, Ravi, who's in the chat. Hope you're well, and hey there to Vincent. I hope you are well also. So I'll get the lineup for Germany versus France. Andy, which one do you want to discuss about, Germany or France?
I mean, we'll take Germany initially, I suppose. I don't know a vast amount player by player, but what you do know is obviously what Frooms has done. I was there for Germany-Spain, and she did actually a very similar save to Mary Earps last night, actually. Fantastic, kept them in the player. Obviously, Pop is playing, which is great for them. I've heard it on the grapevine. She's basically the German Georgia Stanway, but she generally gets a yellow card. But the good news is, all cards are white from the quarterfinals. So unless she goes proper off the deep end, she'll be fine for the final. And obviously, captain of Germany. And McGull is obviously the one that Jurgen Klinsmann in the build-up on the BBC was just saying is another one to watch. Number 20. But unfortunately, they are missing one of their top strikers with COVID, which is going to be a miss for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've actually got Pop as the guaranteed goal scorer for this game. And Reece, what do you think of the lineup? I know you're happy about Brand playing.
Yeah, I've been saying it since the start of the whole tournament. The one player I wanted to play is the natural left winger, and that's Bran. Like 20 years old, lightning fast winger, natural left-footed. Already has a good connection with Dabritz and Rauch. It makes perfect sense to play them down that right-hand side. I think personally I would have went for the younger option against Perisic purely because of the age factor. Obviously, Perisic is a fantastic fullback, but the one thing Brand has in abundance, and I've said it throughout the whole tournament, she's got pace to burn, and that's going to be a major problem. And obviously, you've got the perfect link on the right-hand side with Hoof and Gwyn, a natural right winger in a right wing position, but you've also got, I said it in the last game for the Germans, Gwyn is not a fullback, she's a winger. But she's been playing as a wing back, so it gives you that experience factor where the likes of Oberdorf, who's a centre back by trade but playing defensive midfield, can do the cover on the right hand on that defensive side. Heinrich can go out on the right to cover. Oberdorf can form a back three, and then Germans can attack in a 3-4-3 way, and it's very effective. And I agree about From. For me, like there's only been two in terms of like pure outstanding goalkeepers at the tournament. Yeah, Christensen's been great. The Belgian goalkeeper's been good. The Dutch keeper, but I've said it the whole way through. Only two goalkeepers have impressed me. That's From, pure bias, of course, and Mary Earp. So they're the only two goalkeepers of the whole tournament that have actually impressed me consistently. And overall, I'm very happy with the team. And you mentioned COVID. Yeah, Leah Schuler, of course, still ruled out. She's not going to be at the final either, but it doesn't really matter when you've got the demon that's Pop playing up front. It makes no difference.
Mm-hmm. And we'll move quickly on to France because they've got a terrific back line. You've seen that against the Netherlands. Very tall defenders as well, which obviously works in their favour. Eve scored the penalty for the last game, so she's definitely going to be one of the star players to look at. I know you've watched a few games live of France, Andy, and what do you think of this lineup for you?
Yeah, obviously you were there on the last one as well, Maisy.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, against the German back line, it's going to be interesting because Wendy Renard is a heck of a threat when it comes to obviously any kind of corner, any kind of cross into the box. But it is pretty one-dimensional. So if you can block her, if you can mark her properly, I'll be interested to see what the alternative strategy is going to be. But obviously, captain Tala's person of France. I was impressed by what happened, as I said in the last game with against Holland. So it was France-Holland as we saw last, where obviously building away from Katoto, which is their best striker, they were still a bit of a threat. Danny's very strong; she jumps out to me as well. Keeper's not bad either. I mean, pound for pound, Germany stronger. I mean, that's obvious. But it's just interesting to see what happens on the actual night. I mean, I don't know I don't know what happens there. Is that the rankings in the world? Is it FIFA 3, FIFA 4? Is Germany third? And
actually, France is third. Germany are fifth.
Right. Yeah. So again, it shows
rankings. Actually world rankings? Wait a minute.
Yeah, the world rankings. The top 8. It's the US, Sweden, France, Holland, Germany, Canada, England, Brazil. I don't know 9 and 10.
Yeah, so obviously, so it's on paper they're stronger. On paper, they're stronger than Germany in relation to rankings. But obviously, at this level of the tournament, just another thing to throw in before kick-off as well. Cheryl Foster is a referee. She's from Wales. She's essentially the referee version of Georgia Stanway. If you look at the game she reffed earlier in the tournament, I think she forgot her cards. She lets a lot go, and sort of towards the end, it might have been Holland, Portugal, I'm not sure. There was tackles flying in everywhere. So with Pop again on one side, she could possibly take advantage of that. But see if she's going to tighten it up for the semi.
Mm-hmm. And quickly, Reece, before the game starts, what do you think about this France lineup?
The one thing about the French lineup is it is strong. Obviously I've said this to you, Maisy. I was very underwhelmed by France in the last 2 games because they've been quite slow building out. But then they do kick into a gear. They do show their quality. And obviously you've got Guerrero, Cascarino and Renard. For me, the 3 outstanding players. I think their left back is superb. But I think the French will have all the possession of the ball. The Germans will play on the counter-attack, which is how they beat Spain in the group stage. I think that's exactly how Germany are going to play this game. And I think that's Germany's strength really, is just letting France have the ball. I do like that lineup though. I really do. I think the midfield is the key for the French. And if Mallard can get in on goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's already been kick-off now for the game. And I was going to ask for your score prediction, but you've already predicted it. And you have gone for a 2-1 3-1 for Germany, sorry. That was Cole's prediction. And I've got 2-0 for Germany. Still thinking the same?
Ooh. So just a bit of a harsh tackle then on the goal, free kick for Germany, but I just wasn't sure what was going to go on there. Is it 2 foot? Ooh, no,
you went for 3-1 for Germany.
Yeah, sorry, I was just seeing the tackle. Yeah, 3-1 for Germany. Yeah, I mean, obviously it was 4-0 yesterday, so maybe we are going to get a high-scoring game.
Who knows? What score prediction are you going to go for, Reece?
I'm going 2-0 Germany.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, so it's kick-off. They've got a free kick as well, Germany.
I already know I'm going to be behind you anyway, so if we score, I'll fake celebrate when I see it. Because I'm not celebrating something I can't see. But I'll probably just do like a cha-ching.
Hey there to Elgon. I hope that you are well. Ravi said, and the frogs are going home.
Frogs, it's a term for French people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew said, hi Andrew, hope you well. He said, if Potts goes to win in the final, I am betting the Sun will go with Bill.
It's a German term. It means like all-out war, basically. So like throwing all the bombs at it.
Oh,
yeah. It's a reference.
We have no one on the panel who has French DNA. You know, we don't know anyone.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's good. Rafi's gone 4-2 for Germany. And hey there to Matthew. I hope you are well. And hello to Helly. I hope you are well also. Here it is so people know what's going on. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at it. So we're just ticking. I'll tell you when now, Reece. So I've just hit 3 minutes. So how far?
I just hit 3 minutes as well.
No comment.
Okay, so quite significantly then.
I'm watching on the iPlayer. I'm at a minute 50. That's generally how bad the iPlayer.
Oh, okay. Or you can be the analyst, I suppose, in the end.
I could be the follow up.
To be honest, it's hard. It's hard to do. When we did watchalongs during COVID,
it's so bad.
30-40 second difference. And And some people that weren't didn't have any difference, as you say. It's weird when you know they're going to score. There's no jeopardy. But
the only alternative I can do is I just switch it to I just go on like the internet and go on flash streams or something. I can do it from that. I'll probably get a good link. Actually.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm on Virgin BBC One, so
I am.
If I was in the living room, I would definitely have. I would have hung with it. This is the thing that if you're watching, this is the thing if you're watching on BBC iPlayer, like this, I'd like to understand the logic of the BBC. If you are streaming it, you should. If you are streaming it from like their source, like their app, the iPlayer, you should be in real time or at least a few seconds out. Not nearly 2
ITV's the
minutes.
same though, not just the BBC.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It just sums up how stupid they are.
I don't think Germany really cleared that well.
No, it's weird. It's weird. I mean, they're set up strong, but they're just looking a bit wobbly. I mean, obviously it's nerves as well, isn't it? For everybody, I think at the moment.
We've got to take that as an advantage, and
yeah, I mean, it's funny because we'll maybe open a little bit to the final. I mean, the blockbuster game. If this was a movie kind of thing, the big sort of boss before you win the cup is England-Germany. That is the blockbuster game at the end of the final. From an England point of view, though, the weaker game is England-France. And if we can get there, I don't think especially if the French find a way through Germany, they would have knackered themselves so much. I don't think they'll have anything for us against England on Sunday. But Germany, it will literally be, clash of the Titans situation.
Agreed. Hey there, I like coffee. I hope you are well. Thanks for coming into the chat. Predicted 2-0 for England and 3-0 for Germany. So if you predicted half of what England scored, you may have predicted half of what Germany will score yet. Andrew said everyone in here is underestimating the French. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's possibly a fair point. It's just I know they mentioned there before that Germany looked like they're sort of going down a bit of a blind alley there. The problem we've got is that France has never been further than the semi-final, and this is actually they were never been further since the quarters. So this is the first time in the semis. So that's maybe not with 5 minutes in, but when you get to 65, 75, 80 minutes, thoughts like that start entering your head. Pressure does have an effect on people. I think I said on the prediction show that we did earlier in the week, we got top strikers. Any striker normally can score 12 yards out, a penalty distance. But we all know people miss penalties because of pressure, and that's where pressure kicks in, isn't it?
Yeah, completely agree, 100%.
They're a good side. I'm sticking by what I said the other day, that I was very unimpressed by like how slow like their build up. Like it was really, it caught me by surprise. But they are a good side. But I'm sticking by the team that like obviously I support and I follow. Like I'm not going to divert.
Yeah.
If anything, they got to the semi. They're in the semi-finals for a reason. And if they get to the final, then fair play to them. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously as well, when you look at the stats, I don't think Maisy might have it or whatever, but the Euros has been going in this form since 1987, and every tournament apart from 3 of them,
Germany's in the final.
Germany's won it. No, Germany's won it. Norway's won it twice, and the Dutch last time in 2017. So, I suppose we've all kind of forgotten that, and it's a young team as well. So, if Germany do obviously get through the final, or in my situation, obviously God forbid, win it, they could be dominating for a number of years. Could be dominating for a number of years.
Don't forget though, who was the manager to win it last? Serena
Weigmann, yeah.
Pretty sure last time England and Germany were in the final, it was Euro 2009. England and Germany did win that one. It was a close final though.
Yeah, no, definitely, and obviously. Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, just so many variables. I mean, obviously, another thing England might want tonight is going the distance. To knacking them out, a nice extra time penalties scenario because they've had an extra day. But yeah, we'll just have to see. It's pretty neutral at the minute. I think it looks like France were relatively happy for Germany to come onto them offside there. Rather than take it to Germany.
Completely agree. Helly's happy that a team won 8-0 today. Yeah, great start for you. Ravi said Germany winning full 90. Helgon said it's the same with most streaming. I'm streaming in Norwegian TV on the official app that are 15 seconds behind, which is crap. I Like Coffee said Newcastle lost 3-2 to Benfica. Oh, that's a shame. England to beat Germany in the final. Yes, you know this, Coffee.
I always knew I like coffee.
He said England to beat Germany in the
Oh,
final.
I hate that then. I hate that then. I'll stick to tea then.
Oh. I'd love to know. I mean, to be honest, I don't know if you know, obviously we all watched the game last night. Well, it's a bit of a more of I'll say a lull in play as France are about to attack. Actually, Germany look like they're going to clear that. Ref from last night. I think she kind of won a competition. Switzerland wasn't very good. It wasn't very good at all. I was quite concerned until we started scoring.
I actually wasn't. You know what? Because I'd done the watch along for it last night. I was genuinely feeling sick. I really felt sick until we scored. And I'm like, Reece literally asked me, "Are you okay?" Because I was literally like, I went silent.
You looked half deep. That's why I asked.
I felt so ill.
I'm probably ahead of where the iPlayer is now. That's the funny thing, but I'm still a bit behind. But oh well.
Arsenal lost 2-1 to Brentford today. Ha! And this is supposed to be Arteta on the wheel. Oh.
Oh, yeah, it's getting a little bit physical. There we go. That'll do. Yes, yeah, there you go. Interesting stat coming up on BBC. Ball possession, 63% to Germany, 37% to France so far. Feels about right at the minute.
Yeah, I agree. But
I'm a little bit
surprised by Germany's half than it has been them attacking.
Yeah. A little bit of a kind of replay of what happened in the first half yesterday. It's kind of relatively neutral. Wendy Renard, I think, is definitely a cut above. I mean, there's a height difference as well. Obviously, Wendy is very, very tall, as we saw at the end of the game against Holland, where she patted Van der Donk on the head like a little child. And there's a massive difference in height. So that's the main benefit for France. I'm not too sure about the German players, but I think they're a bit taller as well.
She's over 6 foot, isn't she, Wendy?
Don't know. I know the Lyon keeper's 6'1", believe it or not.
I'm gonna look at her height now. I thought she was over.
Heckering's around 6 foot. She's around 6 foot. I don't think she is above it though, but she is around that.
Yeah, 1.0. No.
Oh, she's 6'1".
Well,
Wendy Renard's 6'1".
According to Wikipedia, it's saying 1.87 meters, which is 6'2".
Well, it's saying when I Google it, she's 1.87 meters, and in feet that's 6.1. 6'1".
6 foot still
just a bit shorter than me then.
Massively tall, especially obviously for the women's game.
But you could tell how tall she was next to Van der Donk. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. What was that keep? Wait till you see that, Reece. What was that keeper doing? She does a punch out, but she punches it vertically upwards with one fist, like a really weird, like I don't know what they've got away with it as France clear into sort of midfield.
Yeah,
just like a bit random, to be honest. I don't know what's going on there. Again, maybe a bit of nerves. You'll see it in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew as well, Reece, wants to know how tall you are.
I'm 6'3".
Oh, so you're just 1 inch smaller than Andrew then. Vincent, for me, I will probably say France is the better team for England to be in the final. Would you agree with that, Andy, as well?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. They've got threats, but at the end of the day, it's a final of the Euros. There's no easy game. We really are just talking about margins here. It's marginally better to play against France than Germany. Partly, as I say, because of belief, because it's going to be flipped in the final. Germany's been there, done that, got the T-shirt all the time. They're the ones who feel natural in the final. It's our first time since 2009. It's at the home final. Wembley's
And the
going to
same
be
one
full.
who we had.
It starts getting, whereas at least it'd be France's first final as well, ever. So, it'll be relatively equal in relation to pressure. Yeah, goal kick to France.
Oh.
Interesting, of course, as well, again, for the dynamics of the match, is that if France do get knocked out, then it frees up the best referee in the world, and I don't think there'll be a debate, Stephanie Frapport, to be the referee for the final, which again will give you a stronger, better game. If France goes through, obviously she can't ref it, so then God knows who's going to get it.
As long as we don't have that one who blows a whistle before, when she gets the corner.
Yeah, she's got a weird form of OCD when she can only end a game on a corner. Weirdest thing I've seen in my life.
She gets the corner, then she blows the whistle.
Yeah, I thought when she did that for the Holland-Portugal game, she'd never get a go again because it's a really random thing to do. Most refs don't do that, obviously. But then she did it again for was it France-Holland game?
Yeah, she'd done it for Portugal, and then she'd done it for France. She'd done it for Portugal versus Netherlands, then the Netherlands versus France.
Oh, I know they don't say I checked it. There's a bit of a sliding tackle the keeper did then. I just wondered if they were looking at it, but no, they're not. Yeah, free kick to Germany.
Yeah.
It's not a secret crush when you put it in a chat, though. That's the problem, Andrew.
Let's see what
talking about what everyone in the chat yesterday was saying their crushes for women's football.
There's only 3 for me.
And
only 3. You've got half a 5-a-side team there. Do you want to do the 5?
I'll gladly do my 5-a-side if you want my 5. I'll gladly do it.
I'll do my 5-a-side if you like as well. For
Go
the
on,
men's
then.
side.
Go on then.
Nah, I can't be bothered.
Just to interject, the French keeper looks down, either injured or wants a bit of a rest. We'll just see if it's genuine or not. Oh no, actually, she might have caught herself because the ball goes in from the free kick, and again she tries to punch it out. This time a little bit less mental. She tries to catch it actually, but she gets knocked into by the German player, so she may have caught herself a little bit like the injury that Van Wiedendaal did for Holland. And obviously she ended up getting replaced. Yeah. But hopefully not. Oh no, she's holding a leg actually now.
No, she's okay though. She's fine.
Seems comfortable.
Hey there, Del Boy. I hope you're well. Thanks for coming into the chat. I like Coffee's secret crushes as the whole of the Portugal team.
That's reasonable.
I like Coffee with Portugal. Come on, I like coffee. He makes me laugh.
Princess Catania. As long as we don't get that imbecile who didn't read. Which game was that? Hell on Wheels. The only bad there's a couple actually. There's this one who doesn't get, you basically have to perform GBH to get a card, and the weird one from Croatia that gives a corner and ends the game. I haven't really seen that bad refereeing, to be honest.
I don't even know who it is.
Apart from
Name the game what it was as well, Elgon, because we might have a bit of an idea who it could be.
The only referee I've been annoyed by the whole tournament was the one that didn't send off the Spanish player after the pullback on Pop. That's the only and the referee in the France-Italy game, to be honest.
That was Rapport. That was the Rapport, the friend, because it was better. Because I remember took a picture of it. I was at the Germany-Spain one. That was a top one. Stephanie Frapport.
That was 100% a red card. That was a red card.
That does the she does the men's game day to day now, actually, in the French top league, and she's reffed the Super Cup. Was it last season as well?
Nice.
I think she's done like a male international as well. She's seen as like the best referee in the world for the women, or best female referee in the world. But to be honest, it felt like that England couldn't get arrested. They were not getting. She was given a lot of Spanish, favoritism. It felt like when I was watching it.
Andrew said VAR has been worse than the refs, and Elliot said VAR decisions are taking way too long. They are taking like 3-4 minutes to be decided. It's a joke.
Yeah,
that's what's going to really have an impact on the women's game going forward. But to be fair, it's not even just the women's game. I know, Andy, you don't watch a lot of the men's game. You're more of the women's game, but it's just as bad. Like timing wise, there's a lot of decisions that take 5 minutes when it can be done in 2.
Yeah,
so
but it's nowhere near as bad in the women's game, and not just that. VAR, they've actually got the VAR officials from the men's game.
Yeah,
so that says, "Oh, really?"
Yeah, I think you lot.
Individuals.
I'll find the UK one because I think the UK VAR guy obviously is done now.
What, Chris Kavanagh?
That's the one. Yeah, I know you lot don't like him, do you?
Ugh.
No. In terms of officiating, yeah. In terms of officiating, for me, like the German game, I've only ever seen 1 or 2 dodgy decisions, but that was like both the big German game, like the Bayern Dortmund game. Other than that, it's good officiating. But for me, I really like the Dutch officials, like the timing of our VAR. Like I watched the Dutch Cup final, and there was like a serious decision where it could have impacted the offside goal, and it was wrapped up within 20 seconds. Like, why did the English not get this? Like, we need this in the Premier League.
Cynical foul by France, and they've got a yellow card as well.
They're being a bit clumsy outside the box, really, aren't they?
That was really. I mean, let's have a look at that again. Replaying it. Actually, it wasn't that bad. She actually just challenged number 22 for Germany. Actually, just channeled her in a Neymar there, and did a little bit of a dive. But she was contact. She just made the most of it. Yeah, number 6, Taletti, yellow. I wonder, it's a great position for Germany as well. So I'd be disappointed if they don't work the goalkeeper on this.
They probably will, though, won't they? No one with the players.
I'd go back. I'd aim back post. Try cut it in from the keeper's right hand side.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting actually. Looking in the wall, they put Wendy Renard sort of as you're looking at to our right, their left, maybe to try and make that just a little bit harder. But let's just have a look and see what happens now as it's about to be taken.
How long has the French coach now been in the job now?
Oh, what a save!
That was a brilliant save, and it was Pop who took the shot.
When you see it, it's at a height. It's at the right height for the keeper, but it was still not a good save, not a easy save to make.
No, because it's gone to a corner anyway. Yeah,
I've just seen the challenge myself, and I do agree it was a bit of a milking by, of all people, Brand.
It's free kick. It's good. Interesting what you think on the free kick.
She
sees it late.
Overrated.
I didn't overrate her. She's a quality young player.
Oh.
Another good save of the goalkeeper, but it's not cleared. Oh, it has now.
This is what they'll try to do, is just get all that pressure in and just test it. The French are a really good side though. Like, defensively, they've held well. But it's the key is that first 20 odd minutes is how you handle the first 20 minutes, and we'll see who attacks who.
Hell is a few seconds ahead of us. That is mad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on 22-20 now.
And I'm on the same as you.
Yeah.
I'm on 21. I'm on 21-5. Let's just not talk about timing.
Yeah, no, it should be interesting. Obviously, I think the longer it stays 0-0, obviously it's only been 20 minutes, but certainly if it gets to half time at 0-0, it will favour France. They'll feel like they could get something.
They'll try and do the diving movements like Chloe thought. Oh, best not to go with that penalty making about the Netherlands at the moment, is it? Still a bit raw.
going about VAR again. Apparently, I think you were saying in the men's it can be used across the pitch, but for some reason it's only being used in the penalty area. I've absolutely no clue why, because all the stuff's already there. They've got the same guys, they've got the same cameras. So I don't really understand that. One of the things I have noticed, and I don't know if this was deliberate, in Old Trafford, when there was a VAR decision, we got told VAR check came up on the screen and you got to see a replay. Whereas now, sometimes you don't even get the VAR check thing, or if you do, you don't get a replay. So again, you know, and I've heard some men's fans talk about in the stadium, they lose out because there's no announcement. You don't know what's going on. And I think it would be a lot better if we saw the replay, you know, while they were making the decision.
Elgon said this to you as well, Reece.
I know, I've just seen it. I've not played Mortal Kombat in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Hey there, Matt. Hope you're well. Thanks for coming into the chat. And hello, Lewis Potter, Super B. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, it's interesting about. I know you've mentioned obviously there about the Russo goal. I mean, it's a great goal. I mean, I think, to be honest, she surprised herself. I think it was kind of done instinctively, and 99 times out of 100 it's saved. But obviously, you know, she got lucky. Not lucky. The luck was on her side because the keeper wasn't expecting it as well, and it looks a fantastic goal. And I have seen, you know, the thing you should never do on Twitter is look at the comments, and these things are done. A lot of these sort of yawn, my 15-year-old boys pub team is better have all gone quiet now. And there's lots and a lot of people that are saying how great the game was yesterday, which is great to see.
Yeah.
That's just the sexist. Well, that's just the sexist dinosaurs that have no clue about football, just doing their typical thing, being a misogynistic little. Actually, I can't say all what to say because I respect Maisy's channel. There's a few words I can put it that way.
No, I know it's just what happened. Just obviously again, another dive by number 15. She's definitely that's a different player though. That
it was a bit more of a shove, wasn't it, there, of France?
Yeah.
Number 15's Gwyn.
France they're just being very sloppy, you know, by giving Germany they already tested the keeper from a similar position. You know, they're going to be, it's going to be interesting now. Only a 2-person wall as well this time.
You'd think they'd put Renard on the wall, wouldn't you, really?
Oof, yeah.
Yeah, Rauch doing what she does best. Hitting a free kick wide. She's good for my set piece, but from my corner and all that, or an indirect position, but attack wise, no. So Gwyn was 11, sorry, Rauch was 15, sorry.
You always put the wrong decisions on Andrew, always.
A well-oiled machine is.
You can see Germany always coming out of their half a lot more now and actually making more attacking plans.
Yeah. It's just interesting with France. You know, they kept it together against Holland. I mean, Holland, I think a lot of the reasons why Netherlands went wrong was Mark Parsons. You know, I said at the time, I think maybe to you that we understand because we've got a crap mark. They've got a crap mark. You know, we understand.
We could compare. Just say to Jill, we understand how you feel. We both have crap marks. Like, this one might be going soon, no, so it's fine.
No, yeah, exactly. I don't think the French manager is going to be stupid enough to sort of take off the equivalent of Van der Donk, which is what obviously they did, which really did heavily impact the game, and you know, and sort of take it way too early.
I've really enjoyed the Euros. Some have been great football. I completely agree, Ellie. And Andy's actually been to a fair few games live as well. And for you, Andy, going to see all the games live, how's it been for you? Because I know you've been probably the majority of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird actually because I mean you've been to a few as well, but I think it's weird because like. It's funny because we've obviously been into women's football. We knew when the first early pre-sale windows were, and that kind of stuff. And I think it's over about 2 years we've ended up building up tickets, which is probably better for the band. And it's quite interesting actually because on Sunday I'm lucky enough to have tickets for the final. But I actually got tickets for the final before I knew anybody that I'm currently friends with. That's how far away it was. It was really early on. That's why I'm on my own. I didn't know anybody to actually go with at the time. And now obviously there's like it's ended up being 7 in the end, but there's essentially 8 of us that are going to go down. But a lot of us are sitting on our own because we didn't actually know the group that we're in now. I think it's been great to see it live. I think I think there's been definitely a movement towards a tournament to sort of more people actually watching the game. What I struggled with Old Trafford was, and this is what happens. See, Man United has got rid of this from the club game because
is it going to be a penalty? No, it's not. Play on.
It's played. Yeah, she's played. Is it gone out though? Or did you just kick?
No, they kept it in the game. France.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if it goes out. What if that gets? Because that's a foul outside the box, and that's.
I thought that would have been a penalty as well.
Let's see what happens if it stops, but I know they can't wait forever. Is she given a free kick? Yeah. So
no,
check.
They're just going to play on.
Let's have a look at the replay here. She's got away with it because number 20 is kneeling down almost when she gets tackled. She sort of slightly haunches. So she probably feels like she was already sort of looking for it a little bit. But yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, so yes, answering the question. So yeah, there's been a change with some of the people. So Old Trafford was great fun, but the Parliamental very, very recently with, I would say almost as recent as last night with the England team, is that international football, women's football is kind of treated a little bit in the same thing as like going to the zoo or like, surrogate childcare, rather than it being an actual football match. So what happened at Old Trafford is after the first 20 minutes, the Mexican waves came in and people started messing around with their phones and somebody had a beach ball and all this kind of stuff. And there was less sort of focus on the game, less chanting. Last night was the closest I've seen in a non-Man United women's game to a cauldron at Bramall Lane. People were actually focused on the game. There were still the kids there. It was still the same demographic. But people were actually watching and enjoying football and watching it for what the game actually is. And I remember actually when I think it was the third or the fourth goal went in, a few of us started to try and start the sort of "we're going to Wembley" chant. But then this guy turned around and looked at me like I said I wanted to murder his firstborn kid, which was a bit random. So maybe we've got a little bit further to go. But certainly we got like "football's coming home" was chanted and stuff like that. So I think hopefully the sort of the people that go to the games have sort of matured a little bit. People are getting interested in the game for what it is. I don't like Mexican waves because it's never 1; it's always like 10, and people stop watching the game. And I would say apart from the first game against Austria, every game I've been to, people have actually been watching the game.
Yeah,
that's a good thing though.
As well for you, Reece, Ravi had a question for you about are you happy with what Germany has been like so far?
Yeah, I have. I'll be honest. I thought based on the games so far, like depending on stronger opposition, I did think Germany would have less of the ball and would be more direct on the counter-attack. And I thought France would have all the possession and try to dominate like as much space as they can, well, limited space because you're not going to get much against the Germans anyway. But they've more or less controlled the game. Like France have had some good moments, so I'm not going to deny that. Like the French have had some good moments where maybe they could have done a little bit better. We've had a few chances where I think we should have scored, but all in all, yeah, I am actually really happy with what I've seen so far. Like I think we've completely changed the method. I generally thought we were going to give France the ball and we would just kind of like dab it and Marco and go in and then feed to Pop if necessary. But the French are like, we're just like
are you enjoying? Just want to ask Ravi as well. Are you enjoying your pre-season game against Salzburg? You're losing 1-0, aren't you?
I mean, you might be getting a response on that in a minute.
I think so.
But yeah, another thing as well. I mean, as we are ticking towards the end of the Euros, I mean, obviously, it's so much cheaper.
Sorry,
it's so much cheaper to watch the women's game apart from anything else, and you do get that interaction with the players and that more inclusive environment and such like. And more games are being played in men's stadium now. We already know that at least one game is going to be played at Old Trafford this year. I think the Emirates, Arsenal are playing at least 3 games this season, including on any of their Champions League games that they get. So that is happening. That's coming in. If people haven't had a chance to go into the big stadiums as well, I think
that's great.
We always love to shock people. Man United Women has, I believe, I will say probably, but I think it's now is the lowest season ticket in the.
I think it's by 20 quid, isn't it?
$39.99.
By 39 quid. Wow.
Doesn't include.
And then how much is the difference between the next in lowest and others? Is it about 20 quid?
Yeah, it doesn't include cup games, but it's, put it this way: Liverpool's just been promoted into the top division, and theirs is 59.
It says enough, really. Hey there, Talking You. Thanks for coming in. I hope you're well. Not being a bad game. Milner, Quality playing left back. Gomez and Canate are fault for the goal. Yeah, I seen that, Helly. I'm really glad for Ericsson that he did score, to be honest. He deserves it. Really deserves it.
I think as well, Reece, you're based in Scotland. Is that right? Or has he gone away?
Got his connections.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll mention when he comes back. I'll ask him the question I was going to ask him.
I'm guessing, is it about Scotland not being in the Euros?
No. More professional. I was going to talk about the Scottish League because people forget it exists.
Yeah, that's very true. It's a confusing league.
Oh, interesting. Again, Wendy Renaud's got to be careful there a little bit.
Yeah, I'm still in.
That's all right. 36 minutes gone. Yeah, as I say, the longer this goes as 0-0, the more I'm going to favour France. I know
don't remind me.
Germany's got the ball, but it's just taking your opportunities, isn't it? And I can't remember what game it was, but I remember watching England, and it's like they were playing like a cat playing with a mouse, essentially. But like any kid, when you play with your food too much, you end up with it all over your face, and that's kind of what happens if you're not careful. So I think Germany need to at least get one to settle the nerves a little bit and put more pressure on France.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they really are sucking up pressure, France, at this moment in time. I'm surprised that they've been doing this, to be fairly honest.
Yeah, no free kick to France now.
Nice to see Wales make the World Cup fishing for the first time in forever.
Yeah,
it's a shame we couldn't be set for Scotland.
It's weird though, because I don't watch. I think you can't watch the Scottish Women's League actually, but they are trying to put a bit in.
What about former? She's our former player who's out, isn't she, for Rangers?
So Jane Ross, who was
Jane Ross,
got an ACL from Rangers. Poppy Lawson, who's a top academy player, just gone to Hibs.
Yeah.
But it's a weird league because you can't really watch it. You can watch it on BBC Alba now. I don't speak Gaelic. I don't know if you do, Reece, but it is weird.
It's a shit language. Put it that way. Nobody in Scotland speaks it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's kind of like you feel like you sort of got a weird translation going on because they do Gaelic and English. So you hear what you recognise some words and not recognise another. It's a weird thing to do when you watch a game when they do the commentary. Obviously, Glasgow City's gone actually into the quarterfinals of Champions League at one point, and they're weird because they only exist in the women's game. But Rangers and Celtic have come in, so hopefully they can. Maybe they need a stronger domestic league to help with the international. But obviously, you're always going to have people playing in the DSL.
Mm-hmm. Helgon said, I've always watched the women's football for what it is, even as a teenager, but I think I was lucky because Norway were one of the first countries taking it seriously, so us in USA were drawing it out. Interesting.
Yeah.
What was you going to say, Reece?
Germans as well, back in the 80s with Frankfurt. Frankfurt were the first professional club in Europe. Like, that's another prime example of taking women's football seriously, but I was going to say, in terms of the Scottish League, like Gaelic is.
What a goal Germany won now!
Is that Pop as well who scored? We've all got our guaranteed goal scorer.
I told you, I did say to you, Pop would score in every single game.
She's not scored as many as Beth Mead, but okay.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because there was no doubt made on that.
Doesn't need to score as many as Beth Mead because she's a better player.
It was a cracking goal.
I'll see that in a minute and 45 seconds anyway, it's fine.
Yeah, just going on the replay now.
Just
I don't think
team full of killers. That's what the German team is, just for killers. That's why I wish I was downstairs watching my team.
Yeah, no, all onside. Yeah, fantastic. Keeping no chance.
That's one of my goal scorers. I just need the other one to come in. One more. But I don't think I'm going to get my other goal scorer. In fact, I know I'm not going to get my other goal scorer.
There it is. Germany goal. What a finish. What a goal. Top class. Poppy's cleared at Beth Mead. Pop and Beth Mead don't even play in the same position. How can we compare? Jordan, hey there. Hope you well.
Even if you try to compare, you just can't.
You can't compare. One's a winger and one's a striker. It's just
one's world class as well.
It's just like comparing Ellen White to Brand.
Yeah, one was born offside. The other doesn't even know what the offside rule is.
Yeah, interesting to see what's going to happen now because France are going to have to come out. If they don't, Germany's going to score again. It'll be 2-0, and then they'll really be screwed. The speed on that was fantastic.
Fast counter.
Yeah, great finish. Full of confidence. Captain. I believe it's her first. I think Chloe was saying it's her first Euros after a number of years of playing as well, so she's experienced. It's really good.
Yeah, it is actually a first.
Yeah, she missed the Euros. The Euros she missed in 2013 as well when they won it as well. She missed that, which is unfair, and she won it a couple of years ago. She's more of a World Cup player. She just never seems to be fit for the Euros. It's like unluck for her. This is German right-hand side. Like the French's strength on the left-hand side is like the Germans on the right-hand side is different.
Yeah, I mean, I think to be honest as well, it's just going to be interesting now because France are going to have to come out and Germany's going to might clear up. I mean, we're now pretty much on a Germany's on the attack again and managed to get back. I don't know if you're looking for an overlap there, but yeah, they're just crowding out Pop now a little bit as well.
Well, that's what they needed to do initially, is to isolate Pop early, wasn't it? She's such a threat.
Yeah.
I want to think about, well, how would England have treated that? I don't know. I'd like to think our defenders wouldn't have given her as much space, but I don't think even Mary could have saved that. It was too close, too much power, and it was a great goal.
I know. Super.
I agree with Andrew. Dabritz is classy.
Have you obviously seen the goal now, Reece?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's just a clear combination from the right-hand side. Brand, quick back heel, gets it in. then to go in, plays it through, and then clear and simple. Hoof and cross into pop and pop off her left foot, her strongest foot. The keeper was saving that, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's Germany.
Switch to my phone. A second.
Oh!
It's 1-1.
What a goal! What a goal! That was a bit of a mess up by the keeper
Fucking
as well.
French.
Oh, easy. Apologies for any language that you may have heard. Goal, great goal, but the keeper will be embarrassed about that. She got a touch on it. It hit the post, bounced off the post, hit the keeper, and went in. So it's a bit of a interesting one. I just see there's anything there that looks no.
It's open now. I was thinking, right, it's going to be a Germany final, but now it depends how they both come out.
Actually, let's just see in the replay now. So, yeah, Danny gets away, hits a post.
No, it wasn't a mess up from the goalkeeper.
No, it wasn't. No. Yeah, you're right. It hit actually, Danny hit the post, and then it bounced off the post, and then it hit the goalkeeper, then went in. What a random thing. If it hadn't hit the goalkeeper, it wouldn't have gone in. What a weird goal to see.
Yeah. It was a good goal, though, as well.
Yeah.
Yes, what a strike. Great goal.
That's it. End of the first half.
Yep. Reece on Poundland Wi-Fi. Nope, he's on Arteta Wi-Fi as it stands. That's no way to speak about Cantona. Laughing out loud, thank you. Exactly. Don't disrespect the French with Cantona. Damn, I was betting. Oh, dearie me. No, not an own goal. It hit the post. So, Hey there, Nipper, and I hope you're well. So, yep, it's half time. So I'll quickly do the stats as well. Half time, 1 goal for both. Possession, Germany's got 51% possession to France's 49% possession. Germany's had 5 shots compared to France's 3 shots. Germany has had 3 shots on target. France has had 0 shots on target, even though they scored. And there's been 3 corners for Germany and 1 corner for France. It's coming up as an own goal now.
It's weird because it definitely, I think you'll know more about this in the men's game where they have the disputed goals panel, don't they? It has to be sort of going in or in sort of the goal line. You know, the problem is that the ball comes off the post.
Yeah, it's gone for an own goal to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, the ball goes off the post. It hits her on the back. If she's not there, it's not a goal. Like, it literally hits her on the back and goes in.
I am going to change that now.
They're just taking it off the monitor.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's get, yeah.
Miles better at football than you, that's all I'm going to say. I don't get why people are actually so, like, afraid of, like, women playing football. Like, there's actually nothing wrong with it. It's just half the women I've watched are better than men. Like, half the women in this tournament I've watched.
You know what also happens as well, which I've noticed, is especially when people see that I'm really interested in the women's game, is that they try and like shame men that are interested in the women's game as well. So that, you know, that, oh well, yeah, but you don't really, yeah, but if there was a men's game, you'd watch that. You know, they try and it's just a weird thing people do, and you know, and it the best analogy, I suppose, is it doesn't work for me because I say I focus on the women only, but like Wimbledon, people love to see Serena Williams. People love to watch Novak Djokovic. Yes, it's a different game, 3 sets and 5, but it's, you know, it's still a Grand Slam, and it's kind of a bit like that, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Helen's explained why it's her own goal. It hit the goalkeeper's body before it went in.
Yeah.
Jody scores the 2 goals.
That's true.
I'm not bothered.
Don't be.
To be honest, if it's going to be anything,
yeah.
I mean, if it's going to be anything, looking at the keeper's face walking off the pitch, it's just going to wind Germany up. It's kind of poking the bear. They're going to come out even stronger in the second half.
Now it's been pointed. I can see that I had hit a body.
It'll motivate them like that. Like to them, like an own goal is just like conceding a goal. It's like it's an insult to them. It'll motivate them to go and do better. That's what top teams do.
What'll be interesting is what happens if France do go ahead now as 2-1 because they've come from behind. Will Germany then look at that? Danny is looking very good as well. I say Meta. I saw her after the game at Rotherham. It's pretty. They're all pretty Gaelic and pretty cool. You know, sort of just wave and that kind of thing afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't really speak to them, can you, because of the COVID?
Yeah, Gabby Logan, she was there last night as well. We actually had to walk past Ian Wright and Gabby Logan to get to our seats, which is pretty cool. And Farrah Williams, they obviously didn't have a chance to, because it was they obviously were broadcasting, but it was good to see him in the flesh.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the game. And for me, in my opinion, I think Germany has been the better side. They've had the better chances, but France, for me, have been more clinical in the chances just because of they've had less shots and they've managed to get a goal. So you'd look at that and say they've been more clinical, but Germany has gone well with the possession. I think it took them a little bit to get into the game, about 5-10 minutes, because we're seeing France hit it off really, really quickly. If you're looking at it, I think it probably will be done in the 90 minutes. And I'm still going to go for a Germany win. Because as it's been touched on, I think Germany do have that motivation to win games. But let's just say as well, Franz isn't the Golden Glove winner as it stands. So let's go with Andy now. What did you think of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really. Well, let's just be our neutral because obviously we support England. I support England in relation to this, but it is a good game. It's pretty even. Great goals. One from France and obviously one from Germany. I think if you were German, you'd be more frustrated with that because they really have just been playing with France. They've not really been sort of pushing it, and really sort of, heavy pace and trying to sort of kill the game. If you're France, you're going to feel pretty comfortable because you're now back in it. It's now 1-1. You got a bit of luck. Sometimes, the clearances off the line or things that, bounce off and go in, start thinking, okay, is it my night? Gives you confidence and stuff like that. Everyone's a little bit superstitious. Key's going to be first 10 minutes once you get to 55, 60 minutes and see what the subs bench are going to be like. Probably Germany has a stronger subs bench. But as I said, I'll be interested to see what happens because Germany's just going to get angry, I think, if it stays like this much longer.
Mm-hmm. Arsenal Vlogs is in the chat. Hey there, Germany lol, says Arsenal Vlogs. Lewis Potter is a B, said Reece is annoyed. So let's go with Reece's view.
I don't know where the perception is that I'm pissed. I'm actually very calm. Like, yeah, there was
bitch face.
No, I'm genuinely calm, and the reason I'm calm is, like I said earlier on, like the French are a good side, but their build-up has been very slow. They haven't had much of an impact. They've only had one attempt. And like that actually would have caused serious concern, and that was the attempt to hit off the post that bounced off from. I'm generally not sweating this. We're by far the better team. I generally think we will score about 10, 15 minutes into the second half, and that'll be it. I've got no reason to be quote unquote pissed or anything. I'm more likely to be if it's like the 80th minute mark and we've not scored the second, and it's getting to the final 10 minutes where it could get really edgy, really nervy. At the moment, no, I'm genuinely calm. I've enjoyed the game, though. I've enjoyed it. I thought the one, like, in terms of like the French, like, I've been very impressed, as I said, about their midfield. And I do like the link up in the channels with the fullbacks. Like, their fullbacks are constantly on, like, pressing forward. It's just, can they get the ball into the into the striker, I've forgotten her name. Not Diani, because she's on the wing, like the one through the middle. Mallard, sorry, that's it, Mallard. If they can get the ball to her more, then that's France's chance of getting the win. But right now, I'm generally not sweating this.
Helly said it could go either way, but I think Germany are furious about that goal. They'll take this. Yeah, I must agree with that as well. So, before we go on to the England game, I can see there's some people in the chat, so I'm going to promote this as well. The fantasy football for Devils United. You can join the league there, D76IRQ. And doing that, you've got a chance of winning Manchester United women tickets at Old Trafford. So if you're in first place when the game is, you'll be able to win a free ticket from myself. Join the code D76IRQ of that chance to win. And if I become first place, second place will get it. So I'll make it fair. We might as well talk about the England game. Why not? And we'll go with you, Reece, from a neutral point of view. What did you... Well, obviously, he wanted the other team to win, Sweden. But from a point of view, which is not a Sweden or an England fan, what did you think of the game?
I said that right at the very beginning of the tournament that I think England were going to be the team that lose in the final. I did think they would get to the final and they would lose it. But, and I had the same conversation with my mum last night, because my mum's been watching some of the games, and the general point of it being that's supposed to be the highest ranked team from Europe, like in terms of like the world rankings, although world rankings are well documented for being fabricated, as we know with the men's game. I mean, if you're Belgian, how you're still number one, no idea. But in terms of like, if that is supposed to be the best ranked team in Europe, they got absolutely battered last night. Like, I didn't see them do anything convincing. I thought the game changed after that save after the first 20 seconds. If Sweden had scored after the first 20 seconds, then you may have had a different game. But it was just the comfort of England just going into the game. Like, they adapted really well to the Swedish. And the minute they scored, to quote an old phrase, it was good night Vienna. It was. I have to say it nicely, even though I can't stand them. I thought England were brilliant last night. I can't mince words. I have to be honest. I thought England were genuinely brilliant last night from a defensive and offensive perspective. And the highlight for me wasn't even the Russo goal, because she said she was actually disappointed with the goal. That for me is brilliant that she said she was disappointed because she was working. They're working on cutbacks. She wanted the first opportunity to go in, not the second. I was more impressed by Lucy Bronze. Like I thought she was by far the best player on the pitch.
It's funny because in the game, I thought she looked wobbly initially in the first half. She wasn't used to against what will be clubmate against Rolfo.
Exactly.
And I was saying to sort of Chloe, look, you can should say to her, look, we can introduce ourselves after the game. They were almost like really close to each other. Yeah. And I actually missed the goal. I actually see it later because I was coming into the stadium again from half time. But it was a great goal, and obviously it did settle them down, didn't it?
Yeah. What did you think of the game, Andy, from a England point of view and being at the game?
Well, it's an interesting. I just found another thing here as well. Of the only 6 of the 16 teams in the tournament have been coached by women. Of those, the three teams which remain in the tournament, obviously as we're speaking, are female coaches, which is pretty cool. I mean, it was a great game. I mean, I was worried in the first half because it felt pretty even. It felt sort of literally 50-50. I don't know what the stats were. Obviously, as you say, Mead scoring was brilliant. It just tipped it over with the noise. It was loud. It was the loudest I ever heard a women's game, including club football. So I wasn't at the Nou Camp, but I mean, obviously, within the ones I've seen, it was louder than Old Trafford with England, Austria as well. I think once you're getting 2-0 up, we just start having that belief, and obviously the fantastic goal that Russo did, and as she said, she can see, she wanted it first time, and obviously the fourth goal as well. It was brilliant, and again, it goes back to what I said previously. Serena Weigman has got England playing like USA, which is fantastic. They are attacking till the 90th. Doesn't matter if they're 1-0 or 10-0 up. None of this going in the corner rubbish, which I know has its like on paper benefits, but I just think,
I hate that. I hate it as well.
Not what you want to see, and they are just literally pushing and pushing and pushing. And it's interesting. I found somewhere again with a disparity. Apparently, Serena earns 400 grand a year as the England women's coach. Southgate is on 3 million.
I know which one I'd rather invest in. That's all I'm saying.
Not including bonuses. And there's a lot of people online that were saying maybe she should do a bit of a job swap. Well, then we wouldn't want him to teach the women's game.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I must be honest, until Beth Mead scored, I felt so sick. And then I felt like for me, once Beth Mead scored, you could see that little bit of crumble and fear from Sweden. And you've seen like Sweden where, for me, in my opinion, they haven't wow factored me in this Euros, to be fairly honest. I think that they was great against Portugal, but Portugal in corners were woeful. And if they wasn't like that, they could have scored 3 goals less. I think that the Netherlands game, they could have pushed it a bit further, especially knowing for me, Netherlands weren't the same. Netherlands since Serena. They played Switzerland as well, and I don't think that was very convincing neither for me. So I've been a bit disappointed with how Sweden is, because I expected that little bit more fight. For them to think, right, we need to do better here, but we just didn't see that whatsoever. And then once Bronze scored, it was game over. It really was. But I must say, Russo and Frank Kirby's goal was absolutely sensational.
Yeah, and it's one of them as well. I don't know if it must be a real quote, but it seems almost made up, where someone said to Serena, how do you think that England why didn't England get over the semi-final curse? And I didn't read it, but I think she was quoted to saying, well, because they didn't have me. And there's that element of cockiness and un-English, essentially, behaviour that I love about her, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She does have a swagger to her, and it is really good. Like, she's polar opposite of like Vos Tecklenburg, the German coach, who she's so darn focused that she doesn't have time for emotion. It's always game done, next game, let's just go for it. And it's never about the moment. It's okay, we've now won this game, let's move on. Whereas I get the whole point with Serena, where it's still living in that moment and then focus the next day. Whereas Vos Tecklenburg, the minute the 90 minutes is done, all right, we're now focused. The minute we beat Sweden, it was straight focus on Finland. Like, it was never, let's just celebrate the fact that we beat the so-called favourites in the tournament. Although, last time I checked, you've got to get the group convincingly to be a favourite. For me, anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely. Obviously, corner to Germany now.
It's just kept off for me. Classic.
Oh, weird sort of looping, and then a great shot. And
yeah, that was a good shot then. Do you know what was funny as well? Ravi asked me a question of, can anyone score? Because Stanway scored outside the box. He said, can anyone apart from Stanway score outside the box? And I actually mentioned Frank Kirby, and she scored outside the box.
That's actually quite funny.
I know.
All I'm going to say, I think Luz asked a fair question when it comes to Emma Hayes and the men's team. Yeah, if she wants to coach in the men's team, that's fine. Just don't let her go into European football, because she doesn't know how to coach in Europe. But I'd like to see a woman manage a men's team in England. I don't think I've seen any. I've only seen them happen in Japan. It's only China and Japan and out with. Like, I haven't seen it in. Actually, there's a few in the German game, but I haven't seen many in England.
Yeah, completely. I mean, it's funny as well, because the one that she was linked to was a League Two side,
Wimbledon.
and it's like, I mean, maybe another one as well, but then like League One, League Two, and I wouldn't say that's the equivalent. The top end of the women's game is not the equivalent of League Two when it comes to the men or something like that. But obviously, it's a different set of skills. Men are different than women. I remember when was it one of the coaches who came from the men's games, the coach in the women's game, said it was interesting because when they ask the women to do something, they generally have to explain the reason why and be a bit more sort of cerebral, a bit more sort of, this is the reason and this is why we're doing it. Whereas with the guys, it's relatively easier to bark orders and stuff like that. So maybe it's sort of a bit of cultural differences there as well.
And the understanding of it is so key as well, like how we perceive foot. Like, obviously, like for me, like I don't watch a lot of women's football, so like for me, I suppose it's just perception, like perception of what, for example, like possession of the ball or playing with the press. But in the women's game, you don't really see them playing multiple styles. It's either you play one way or the other. You don't see a vast array of systems and style, and I think that's what it's coming into now, which is great. That's just my perception of it, but I see what you mean in terms of like understanding. It can be one way of explaining it. The other reason is like, one more time, and that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I mean, I've gone on a bit of a journey with Emma Hayes because a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, when I first got into women's football when United was formed, I got very, very angry with Emma Hayes because she was quoted. She did an article and she did a bit on TV about the idea of saying that the women's game doesn't have to be constrained by the men's, advocating for smaller goals. Because typically goalkeepers are smaller in the women's game, so you get a lot more sort of goals from outside the box, and also advocating for smaller balls, noting that the WNBA has a smaller basketball than the NBA does, and I because obviously women have smaller hands on average. And I find that really, really frustrating because she almost sounded like she was a sort of misogynist in a pub, yet she was apparently God's gift to the women's game. So what actually happened, and people know this story, you might have heard it if you were listening to some of the pods, but I was watching, it was World Cup 2019 for the women, and I was seeing some of their great goalkeepers, and at the time the Chelsea goalkeeper making great saves, and I was just getting more and more wound up, thinking, well, how the hell can you look your goalkeeper in the eye on Monday for training? And when they basically said, I don't think you can deal with the big boy goals, and I don't think you can deal with the big boy ball. Like, how would you have been able to have actually had that conversation? So I tweeted Emma Hayes a few times, and not thinking anything of it, thinking obviously that celebrities, lots of followers, that kind of stuff. First time United played Chelsea in the WSL. And I saw she was quoted for something. I clicked on Emma Hayes' profile, and I was blocked. So that means not only, and obviously Twitter being Twitter, that means she's actively seen one of those tweets and had to physically block me.
Snowflake.
Yeah, and it worries me. And it was funny. I've just about stopped doing it now, but for a couple of seasons, every time I went to Chelsea, I kind of felt like I needed to sort of wear a cap and maybe some sunglasses, and like perversely, she's going to go you and sort of kick me out of King's Meadow or something like that. But obviously, she's not. But obviously, since then, she's got more and more on the analysis, more and more. Everyone seems to love her. I still can't stand her for that reason. But then, as someone pointed out to me, she's never actually repeated those comments. So maybe she's quietly realised that they were stupid. But obviously, that was my main concern when they were discussing who could be England manager before Phil Neville, because I thought if you had someone who's England manager who wants, where does that end? Smaller goals. Yeah. Why don't you make the ball pink? Because traditionally that's a girl colour. Why don't you put glitter on it? Why don't you have it shorter? It's just it's just stupid. Where does it end? Kind of in that scenario.
I agree because that really does sum up the point behind you want to try and fight for change, like the Alex Scott documentary is obviously replaying on BBC iPlayer, like Future of the Game and all that.
Yeah,
and it's a real reflection about the women's game. And if you really want change, you should be advocating for. If the men have got, obviously right now, like the American women's team are trying to get equal pay to the men. Yeah. All due respect, I don't see that happening for a very long time. But that's what you should be advocating for. You should be advocating for the same things. Money-wise, yeah, there may not be a lot of investment in the women's game yet, so advocating for same amount of money isn't going to happen so quickly. But saying you want smaller goals, you want shorter balls and all that, that's basically saying you don't have any belief in the women's game. You don't have belief in the women you're trying to coach. That says all for me. I think that's a massive problem. That's why I don't think of her at all.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is as well. I read somewhere actually that the modern goal size was sort of decided at the turn of the 20th century, and actually isn't based on men's sizes either. It isn't based on modern sort of height either. It's not really based on anything. And obviously, because if that was the case, you would never have any goalkeeper. You'd have 6'6" goalkeepers in the Premier League all the time. You just never have anybody short. It's not all about the height, as you know. It's about flexibility and body positioning and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm just reading the comment, obviously. It is going to divide it, but I'm not really sure what to think of it, but I'll just respond in my manner, because I know for a fact a Scottish pundit has got abuse for it. I don't think there's a distinct reason why there's no division of who plays in the team. I think the manager's going by who is actually the best in that position. But in terms of choice, it comes down to the manager who plays and who doesn't. I don't make those choices. But in terms of opinion, end of the day, it comes down to the manager. I don't think there's any other reason behind it. That is purely it, but I don't see it really.
Yeah, and there has been times where there has been more players of colour in the squads.
Absolutely.
There has been discussions possibly about where that is and why that is. Again, as you said on that documentary, I think it might have been that apparently, again, because a lot of the clubs are piggybacking over the men's structures. I think it came up on Twitter recently that still has now the female academy members of Crystal Palace have to pay between £100 or £200. I don't know, whereas the men get it for free. And a lot of the training facilities are like Carrington's in the middle of nowhere, for example. So a lot of the training facilities are where the men is, and if you traditionally more inner city or urban areas, you might find it difficult to get there. You might find it harder to get there and to make that sustained investment. But I think that what's giving people the concern of why these questions are coming up is because of obviously Mark, the coach before. I think it was before Phil Neville, possibly, who obviously with Inequality, where there was that discussion about was he racist or not, and I think that's possibly why it's a bit rawer. I mean, and maybe also it's in people's heads at the moment, because if you look at France, for example, they are very diverse at the moment. But again, I think that's to an extent to do with, as you say, who's available, who's in form, who's playing. I think as a more general point as well with racism, it's not just that. Until Serena Weigman came along, you would have a scenario where it was basically a lot of players play for England. It doesn't matter how good they're playing, because they're the English players in the sense of they're the ones who play for England. Whereas anybody out of the top three clubs that were looking good or good on form, we how many times, Maisy, do we think, why the heck's that person been called? Why is Hannah Blundell not in the squad? Why? And it's like they started picking their favourites, and that happened for a long, long time. And it's only really under Serena, and she's only been there for 10 months, that she started to play on form and pick on form. And the reason why she's done so well is she made the hard call. Steph Houghton wasn't good enough to be in the England squad. Ergo, she's not in the England squad. That's really the end of this discussion. But the amount of people that seem to think that women's football is like the X Factor, a nice little story, you need a bit of mood music and that kind of stuff. Like, oh, it'd be terrible, yeah, but isn't it bad because she's a champ? She did so much for the women's game. She's a captain and all this kind of thing. Yeah, she's a captain, but she's also someone who has been interviewed and said that she doesn't watch women's football when she's got in her spare time. She watches the men's with her husband as a preference. So how are you? Exactly. That's fine, but again, in a position, why would you vocalize that? But because Serena makes the hard calls, I don't think I think she just sees who's best for the team and obviously puts in who's needed.
Yeah, exactly. Like for me, it's purely if I'm a manager and I'm looking at like the players in my squad, I'm not basing on where you come from. I'm basing on two factors. One, do you actually fit the team I want to play? And two, are you actually better than other players in your position? And I'm looking at it, and it might just be the case where I'm looking at the likes of Renard or Guilloro or Cascarino, like for France, for example, and Diani. It's not just like I'm looking at them purely; they are amazing in their position, so I can see why they get picked for France. And then I look at the England team, for example. I'll be honest, I very rarely watch England, so I don't know any players in the team for players of colour, apart from maybe Nikita Paris. I don't know what Nikita Paris is actually like.
She's in the subs. She is in the squad, actually. We forgot about her.
I'm not sure how good she is a player, so that's my base around it. Is maybe whoever's actually in the squad.
By the way.
Yeah. So whoever's in the squad, they actually just be the best players in those positions, and that's the manager's choice. But that's what I look for. If you pick the system and you're actually good enough in the position that you're better than the players around you, that's who I pick.
Yeah, I mean, Nikita Paris is an interesting one. There's probably men's player equivalent you can think of where essentially, she was brilliant when she played, a couple of clubs ago with City. Then she went to Lyon. Then she went to Arsenal, and every single club that she's going to, she's getting worse and worse and worse. And that's why, as United fans, we're worried that she's linked with us, because it's almost like it's been like Benjamin Button in reverse. Every club that she plays for, she scores less goals than the last one. So she was someone who used to get lots and lots of time for England because she played for City. And it was at that time where we used to talk about England being City and friends. It doesn't matter what, and then we were reliant on whether or not City was on form or not, or whether the England team were on form. At least now it's a lot more mixed.
As it should be, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think, to be honest, you can see, I can try and remember other teams as well. I think, to be honest, at the international level, if it's dominated by one club, you have got a problem, because at the end of the day, internationals are harder than club games. And I think Italy was basically Juventus and friends, and they didn't do as good as they should have been. So I think maybe that's possibly the reason. And Jorge Vilda made a lot of mistakes as manager, but that's the reason why people sort of say, why doesn't Vilda just pick Barcelona essentially as his international squad? Well, because you have to look at it differently than that. You have to build a team. It's a different skill set. If it is one club, by definition, it's a lot harder.
That's why, look at the Germany team. In terms of the German lineup, only two or three of the German players are actual starters for Bayern Munich. The rest is Wolfsburg. The rest is Lyon. It's well balanced across the league and across Europe. It's not like they've had the same situation where it used to be like that, where it was just Bayern Munich and Dortmund. Now it's for the men's game, for the women's game, it's all over. And that's a very crucial factor. And I agree with you. If the Spanish manager just picked Barcelona players, they would have suffered in this tournament. I actually think they would have suffered because you look at how they handle pressing situations. You break them on the first press, they can't cope. Teams like this in the European game, like for internationals, are so aware of that. They would batter them black and blue. They would.
Yeah, I mean, this is it, and I think linking on that point as well. I think I don't think it's that much of a surprise that obviously Jenny Hermoso got a knee injury and Alexia got an ACL, because they play a lot more games in Spain and they play pretty much every game, or at least a proportion of every game. So you have to have that spread, and but I do think there is something about the league underneath. The stronger your domestic league gets, the stronger obviously your international team is going to be. And Italy for next season, so obviously season starting in September, it's the first time they've gone pro. We'll be interested to see what happens, as France are in a great position there, but then just hit it straight at the keeper, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where that's what I'm looking forward to next year. Because obviously Milan so far have made some very key signings. They've signed the two top, they've signed the twins. They've improved the defense, the attack. That's the key reflection for me is where they're going, because I'll be watching them from the Italian game. The
Juventus team, like they're still strong, but I think they're going to find it difficult next year. I think they'll find it difficult next year, but they'll still be the favourites to win, like the Scudetti. They'll still be favourites to do it, but I don't think they will.
Yeah,
but
it's interesting. Sorry, go on.
And that's why I think I'm looking forward to watching. Like, obviously, I know you guys really like Barcelona. I just got so embroiled by Real Madrid as well, and watching them, so.
No, I do as well. I've seen a couple. I found myself almost supporting Madrid in the quarterfinal of the Champions League because there's a lot of parallels that have been made between United and Real Madrid. Real Madrid, I know it's a bit different. They kind of bought another team and rebranded it, but pretty much they kind of did what United did. They're sort of fourth in the league. For a while. Then they're on the up. They've got the men's club behind them now. They play a little bit about United. They're a bit weaker, sort of player by player, but they've got a bit of sort of swagger and a little bit of sort of like self-belief, and they get, again, I'm going to be interested to see what happens next year. But what I think the key is, and I think this is why United has got such a bigger women's fan base, is proper football fans, is that United people are into the badge. Doesn't matter if it's men, women's, under this, that, and the other, seniors, juniors. It's about supporting the club, and I think that's the mentality that you want. And once people have that idea, and I think they've started to do it with like PSG, for example, their ultras for men is now, some said in a bad way because they've done a few weird things, but their ultras for the men has now absorbed the women, so they do the same gig, they do the same shouting in the flares and all this kind of stuff that they do for the men's team now. And once it becomes a sort of, we are behind insert club name here, you're going to get your fans over a lot quicker because it's still PSG, it's still Lyon, it's still, it's that club. But when you see it as a separate, before Man United women arrived in the league, honestly, I'd say this for a fact, I know for a fact, I've had it done to myself. People have actually said, be quiet at football matches. People have looked at you funny if you were chanting, and there was a belief because previously, 5-6 years ago, you'd have everybody knew everybody. The fans were like 50 people. All the players knew them. Some of the guys that were there, I'll be honest, but basically the reason why they were there, it's a close they could get to a woman without paying. There was some really weird sort of like elements to it. And they wanted to sort of gatekeep this very special relationship with the players. Whereas people like us have come in, and we know as it gets bigger, we're going to get less interaction with the players. But I want the money. I want the players to make the money. I want them to play in the big stadiums. I used to use the example when we discussed it on our pods before, where like, let's take Lauren James, who obviously has an easier example because she has a men's brother, doesn't she? She has a Premier League brother. I'm sure they both watched the Reece. They both watched the same games, I'm sure, when they were a kid, dreaming about scoring the winner and making a noise. But until recently, it was only Reece who had the chance of doing that.
Exactly.
Whereas at least she's got a chance of making it, because nobody wants to play in a respectful, environment where there's no noise and a slight little clap at the end. And that's what we've been pushing. And to be honest, we're winning. More and more clubs are coming to where we are. Chelsea are getting a little bit more chanty. Arsenal are nicking a lot of our chants. They're nowhere near as good as we are, but we are starting to bring that culture in, and that's good.
What's your favourite chant, Andy?
It depends what it is. It depends when it is. Like any good chant, it's like a weapon, isn't it? You have memories of doing it at certain points. Probably like one as a just sort of emotion is Two Knees on Fire, because you get that sort of na 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 na. You get that jumping bit you can do. And
I like the Jackie Gronan song though.
Jackie Gronan one is a good one because like it's quite long and it's quite involved, and all the other long ones are a little bit more historical, a bit more men's chants. Like, On the Banks of the River Irwell, which is like a geography test for me until recently. I had to sort of, there's like loads and loads of like, references to places in Manchester that I don't even blooming know. And then the only thing I would say that happened, and maybe would need refreshing a little bit next year, is that there's a lot of anti-City chants that go on when we're not even playing City. And it's just a little bit, I could probably do the Bitter Blue chant in my sleep now. So hopefully we'll sort of like, we'll sort of change it up a bit next season.
Sounds good.
We'll have to think of a chant for Lucia Garcia.
Oh, I think Nat's got one, hasn't she?
Has she already?
Yeah, it's a bit weird though. Considering she doesn't speak English yet, I don't know if she's going to understand who a Scouser is. So maybe Arnold will have to explain.
We'll just Oh, don't worry. There's a very good way to explain a Scouser. We'll send her the deets. We'll send her the deets that she needs. No, not yet. Although the Bernard header really could think, but this is the substitution for me. This is the key. Dolman.
Well, this is it. I mean, it's all the 68 minute, as I said, it's kind of the change between the sort of early end of game and the sort of end game, 70, 80, 90 minutes.
France have been brilliant this whole second half. Like, if it stays like this for another 10 minutes, then I will get like a little bit more nervous. But at the minute, I'm keeping it chilled. The fact that they're bringing on Lohman and Dalman is good, although I would have kept Dabritz on. I wouldn't have taken Dabritz off.
The question is about penalty takers. I don't know if you know if they took any penalty takers off, because that is a consideration, isn't it, with a knockout.
In terms of penalties, the ones you want to keep on is Mago, you want to keep on Pop, and you want to keep on Rauch, the left back. Although she may come off like for Klenherm, because she's a really good attacker as well. But Dolman's a really good set piece taker, so she should be okay.
At least as well. I mean, we discussed this yesterday, me and Chloe, at the game, because I'm hoping we never see England penalties live, because the thing from the men's game has come over, this random idea. No, it's a curse, but it's also stupidity. It's like, I'm old. I'm 35 now, and so I remember some of this because I used to watch bits of the international game. But there's a thing that England do where they put their best striker on the first kick, which has the least pressure.
Yeah.
And then on the fifth kick, they do a defender who's never scored since 1981, or whatever, a random, and they wonder why we lose games. Whereas every other person plays their striker on the fifth penalty, which is what you need to do.
Well, what we done last time with England, we had our top striker on in the first, we had our defender on in the second, and we had
two wingers on the.
And we had the 19-year-old taking our fifth penalty.
This is it, and it's like, if you're a midfielder and you're letting, I'll be honest, right? If you're a midfielder and you're letting a bloody left back or centre back take a penalty in front of you and you're sort of hiding when they're asking, you need to have a good look at yourself. The defender should be last, really.
I must be honest, though, the defender who scored for England, Harry Maguire, he's done a cracking penalty.
Oh, it was a brilliant penalty. I have to
give him the camera. He broke the camera. That's how good it was.
I mean, that's different as well, because the captain element, isn't it? I get they've got to step up and do it, whatever you are. If you're captain, it's part of leadership. You can't ask other people to do things that you won't do. But there have been, on certain cases, especially a striker. If you're a striker and you don't put your hand up for a penalty, that's like a cardinal sin for me.
I'm just reading Vincent's comment. What the fuck? I can't. I'm not saying that on YouTube, but wow, Vincent. I mean, wow. I can't say anything. I think Maisy's buckled. I think Maisy's broken by that comment, because I can't say anything.
I just couldn't believe.
Oh yeah, Vincent. But see, I would rather see. Yeah. Yeah.
We've now gone to that point now where even Ravi's saying he's not going to do it. Like, let's just refrain from. I can't. I have no words.
Well, unless you're talking about a very specific people in Thailand, because that is the term that they use culturally. Is actually an offensive term for anybody else, but it is actually the correct term for Thailand. But I think I'd be giving him too much credit if I think he was talking specifically about people from Thailand. I'll maybe move up for Ravi's comment there. He thought that I was in my late 20s. Well, that's nice. I appreciate that.
That's because you're.
Now I'm 35.
What?
Yeah.
There's no way you're 10 years older than me.
Yeah, I am. It's true. It's true. It must
Only
be
just turned 35.
It must be. Oh yeah, because that makes a difference. If I was 34, you'd still be like, "Oh, that's not a shock. Actually, that's completely accurate." it's at 12. It's at 12 months. Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. This is it. This is the thing. But I try not to emphasize the age, because obviously Maisy's slightly younger than me. But
I really hope this game doesn't go extra time, because that will give me the. Although
I
Germany would
thought you were going to double down there, and because I was talking about age, you were going to say it's past my bedtime or something, you know.
No, I don't. It's my day off tomorrow. No, I don't. I don't want it to go. I don't want it to go extra time because I do think that will give England an even bigger advantage for Sunday. Like with that extra day's rest, and obviously the teams went 120 minutes plus potentially penalties. Although the Germans are ruthless at penalties, I want this game to be done in 90 minutes.
It's an old statistic, so it's probably wrong because, as I said, I haven't watched the men's game for a long time. But there is one. There is one club. There is one country that has a worse record on penalties than England overall over the years, if you include like the few decades. I just wonder if you know who it might be. You probably might know the deal who it is.
I can tell you what country is. I can tell you what country's got a much better penalty record than England, and that's Scotland. Scotland have never lost on penalties, but I'm pretty sure for the worst penalty record, it's not Italy, but I know it's a high-ranking nation, which is actually quite funny.
It is. Any ideas, Maisy?
I'm thinking France.
I was going to say France.
Holland.
Wow.
In the men's game, yeah. Apparently the Dutch are even worse. Once it goes to penalties, you'll just put their hands up when you're watching at home and go, it's gone. Because they actually have a worse record. It might have changed. It's about 5-year-old statistics. It may have changed in the last 5 years. But I remember watching a program about it because that's how sad I was. Like over the last 20, 30 years, on average, it's Holland that have a worse penalty record than England.
I'll check just now to see if it's still the same. And if it is, then that's really interesting.
But maybe that's why Holland don't let it get to penalties a lot of the time. It might, as I say,
let's see. International shootout records. We'll look at, obviously the best ones are pretty obvious. Like the best penalty records is Germany and Argentina. Like no surprise there. In the European Championships is Italy and Spain. The World Cup it's Argentina and Germany. The Copa America is Brazil. You'll be shocked. The best penalty record in Asia is Saudi Arabia.
Whoa, that's interesting.
They've got the best record.
Germany. That's interesting. Germany are going to push there.
They've done well there, France.
Give me the worst records, please. Worst international record. Here we go. The worst record's England.
Oh, Germany scored.
Yes.
Off again.
Here we come. And look who scored. It's the Queen of Soul. The Queen of Football Soul. Yeah, so in terms of World Cup records for the men, in the World Cup, it's England. See if I can get the European Championships. It's not saying much about. No, Italy as well. No, hold on. Give me the flaming Dutch. It looks like Argentina has actually got the worst record in the Copa America, a joint with Uruguay.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like a thing they did for that program or something, but it was over a number of years of a different concept.
It must have been, yeah, because they're not actually mentioning the Dutch, because they're saying in terms of recent years it's Italy and Spain, which is crazy because last time actually the Italians lost a penalty shootout that I saw was against the Germans at Euro 2016, and then obviously Spain 4 years before that. But I find that fascinating.
Oh yeah, I've found something from 2016. Again, this links to the men's. That it's actually Romania that's the worst for the European countries. This again goes back years. It's 2016. Then England at number 11, Netherlands at 10, then Italy 9, joint 6, Sweden and Republic of Ireland, then Denmark, and then France 5th, Spain 4th. Portugal 3rd, Germany / West Germany 2nd, and best being Czech Republic / Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, Czechoslovakia. They actually beat European champions Germany in a penalty shootout when the Panenka penalty was formed.
Goal check. I think it's been given though.
Yeah, surely it has to. Like, she's not even offside. Like she's onside.
Yeah, it's onside.
Yeah, it's fine.
She's in line with the defenders, stuff like that.
And look who got the assist though. Again, it was Hoof. That right hand sign link up Hoof and Pop. Is that link up? That's that telekinetic, like telepathic connection. Like that right hand side is their strength.
obviously now we haven't got much time, so it'd be interesting to see what happens. 77th minute. Looks like number 18 for France is coming on.
Won't make a difference.
Oh, look at him with his glitter on his face.
Oh, looks like Santa Claus is having a summer holiday there. Yeah. The guy you just got to see.
It generally means nothing. Whoever they bring on, this game is over. It's over.
But yeah, that all started from me saying that I was 35. But yeah, I'm 35. There you go. That ends the conversation. No,
can I just say this as well? And I'm saying this in complete utter shock, right? Because I am. Is Renard has been awful in the air tonight.
I think she's not been that good in the air during the knockout game. She wasn't that good for Holland, was she?
I think it's what I said though. It's like that was their plan. It was blood and obvious against Holland. They kept whipping it to Renard. She kept heading it, and the keeper kept them in the game. You keep her quiet. There's less of a danger there.
Ooh, nearly 2-2.
Nearly 2-2.
So that's Pop joint at top goal scorer
now. Maybe sounds about right.
She's on 6 goals from 5 games.
I mean, it's interesting.
England scorer on? Who's top goal scorer for England right now at the tournament?
Mead.
It's not. How many she scored?
6.
We're good. This is going to be good.
But Russo has scored 4, and all from the subs bench, which is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. She's a cracking player.
I agree what you're saying about, obviously, if it does get a penalty, if we do get 2-2 and it goes to extra time penalties, it could be knackering. But everyone needs to forget, if you've been there and successfully won them only a few days ago, again, it takes away that mental scarcity, doesn't it? You've done it. I know where I'm doing it. We beat it 3 days ago or something like that. So, if it's Germany, I think it'll be more like that. If it's France and they end up winning, it would be like, more like them just being knackered and they've given all their emotions today, and they've got to go again on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm just mesmerized by the quality, and I think this is what people really need. Like this is what people need to understand. This is what I hate is I've just seen that effort, the one that went wide. Really good effort by Bakke. Bash I can't remember because her hair was covering up her flaming name, so I couldn't see the rest of it. The quality of the women's game, like there's so many people that just don't understand just how good these women actually are. Yeah, you're going to get moments where you're going to get like England winning like 20-0, which is for me why some people don't take them serious.
Yes, that's why you underestimated England, because we could only score against small teams, but then when you realise we could score against big teams,
that's not what I said. That is not what I said. I said that's not what I said. That is not what I said.
You did. It was months ago. You said that. You said England could only have a high-scoring game against smaller teams, and you'd have to see what they'd be like against the bigger sides. And you did say that.
I said some of that, not all of it. But what I'm saying is, and this is where you're jumping in my throat again. This is what I'm just trying to tell you is this is why some people aren't taking them as serious as they should be taken serious. Because of those high-scoring results, they look at them and think, is it generally lack of quality in the women's game, or is it generally a really good team just battering them? They aren't taking them seriously, whereas you get into the tournament, and they have been playing extremely well. And I said at the start of the tournament, they'd be one of the teams I had favoured to get to the final. Even though it makes me physically sick, I still openly admitted I thought England were getting to the final, and they're going to lose anyway. But I still stand by what I said, though.
But we can score a high against big teams. We literally battered Holland 5-1.
I think
was it 5-1? I thought it was 4-1.
I mean, the reason why is because
French game 5-1.
The reason why is because the investment isn't as equal across Europe and bigger.
That's a shame.
That's the thing. So obviously, you've got your San Marinos in the men's game where they do get battered, but obviously some of the more lower level men's teams are a bit more equal with other men's teams. The problem that you've got is that, I mean, when we played Latvia, which obviously is brought up as the example, the 20-0. Yes, obviously, massive quality difference, but they were missing some of their players because it was a midweek game and they literally couldn't get time off work. That was one of the reasons. And their goalkeeper was in college. it was literally a student, and it's stuff like that. And this is all the problem is because people are going to assume if you turn it on, if you turn it on, you're going to think that everyone's professional, But even in this game, so in the Euros, as you know, the Belgian keeper rented bouncy castles as a role. She's not a professional player. And until people realize that, then they're going to be surprised because you're not comparing the same with the same.
The miss was offside anyway.
Yeah. $83, 20 minutes. I mean, I think France are going out. Obviously, they're not careful. I think. I'm not sure what's going on there with Vincent.
He's on about because I'd said about England.
Well, I'll be at the stage.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. My internet started cutting after you were mentioning the Latvia game.
I wonder why he went a little bit quiet.
Yeah, I think he's done it again, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting way to stop there with the sort of.
Carry on.
Yeah, we'll just look at what we're going at. 84th minute now.
I hate this stupid Wi-Fi. I want to break it.
Yeah, it's going to frustrate.
Yeah, it's really annoying.
Mm-hmm. I agree with Ellie there as well.
Yeah, it isn't treated everywhere. And as I was saying about Latvia, I don't know if you caught this. Some of their players were unavailable because they couldn't get the time off work because it was a midweek game, and their goalkeeper was in college, was basically a uni student, and people forget that. They look at this professional management, and they assume everybody's professional. But even in this tournament, the Belgian keeper rented bouncy castles for a living. I think he's gone again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he has, yeah. Yeah, just seen it, Vincent replied back. Oh, yeah, it's only 5 more minutes now, isn't it? So Germany's done it.
10-10 attempts, so that's an interesting.
That's mad. That's mad to think they both equally have the same amount of chances.
This is really annoying.
Don't worry about it. It happens. It happens. This can't be helped.
Yeah, it is really annoying. There's nothing I can really do about it, but yeah.
It's all right. It should settle itself down. I mean, you get elements of throttling as well, don't you? We're now into sort of peak time where people are streaming Netflix and that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly. Peasants.
Yeah,
go outside, get drunk or something. Hell, good question. The answer is no idea because it's in my living room. That's all I can tell you.
Check on your phone.
On my phone, it's.
No, there's an app on your phone where you can check it.
Yeah, I'm getting 592 bits per second. Like,
I don't have a clue what that is, so.
Not that good. Although I am 5 bar on my phone.
Oh, it's 2-2.
Oh!
Fuck.
Is it? Hang on, what are you watching? It's.
Is she doing that just to wind me up, or have you genuinely scored?
No, they haven't scored.
No, she's winding you up.
Andrew thinks it is as well.
I was going to say, because I was just checking something then, and then so I just heard you say that. Hang on a minute.
Fuck you, Maisy. That's not fair. That is absolute disgusting. Didn't he do that to me? Like, that is absolute disgusting behaviour.
Like 87 minutes 27 now, and it is 2-1 to be clear to Germany. So
I'm 86-12. I'm 86-12.
I thought I'll give you some minute half of peace and know that at least for that period it'll still be 2-1.
Maisy, you belong in hell for that. Like, that was just shocking.
At least other people find me funny. That's why I said it, because Renard had a shot on goal. So it looked like Renard scored.
You've made me look like a right mug. This is gonna get clipped now. You've made me look like a right mug. Like, how dare you?
I've made you look like one.
Did you not see my bloody reaction? Go into your stream and just rewind it, and you'll see my reaction. That's getting clipped.
It might just be, hey, they could genuinely equalise, and then you've just already done it. It's just saved your job. But
I like Coffin. That was an accident. That one. This one was a purpose.
It's an accident.
Ooh.
Come on, Helgon. I didn't mean it to you.
Diving like mad now at the moment though, because it's 88th minute.
See, I even tricked Helly as well. I didn't just trick you, Reece.
You got me as well.
You're a despicable human being. You're just evil.
See, what I could do, Maisy, I could say, our France about to get back into it, like I did with Switzerland, with Sweden and Belgium, but no, it's just.
See, even Hell's gone understands. Like, they were just a pain. See if the buggers actually did score as well. I would have walked.
Oh wow! What a ball! A one-on-one with the keeper. Oh,
what a bad miss there.
Dalman.
From Dallum, yeah.
Yeah, Dalman isn't that much of a finisher. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Added time, 3-4 minutes. Do you reckon?
Hopefully, 3 would be enough. Thanks. In fact, no, 2 minutes. Don't give the French any more.
There's been too many subs. I'm just trying to. We do that thing where we sometimes guess.
4 minutes then. I reckon.
4 minutes. So that's a corner. It's a corner, that, actually.
Do not concede now. Do not concede now. Do not concede
No,
now.
it's a corner for Germany. Oh, but I was giving a goal kick. He was giving a goal kick. It definitely came off the French player. That's a bit weird.
Huff is coming off.
You'll get more time as well because Vi's move is coming on. She's all right.
We haven't got extra. I can't see the number yet. I don't think it's because we've got it muted, so I can't.
No, it's still not showing on mine yet either. They're moving up the side. They'd probably gone to VAR to check.
Oh, it's the touch again. Right, France have got it.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Oh, free kick to France. Yeah. Another card, maybe.
Oh, they could actually make it 2-2.
Can you imagine?
Behave you.
Means you get the pleasure of my company for another half an hour.
It's always a pleasure to have your company.
Oh, thank you very much.
I cannot go through another extra time watch along. The last time I was on an extra time watch along, I saw a defeat in penalties. I can't go through that again.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe you just jinxed Germany.
Nah, I won't jinx them. I just won't. I just don't want to see extra time.
1 minute 26 into obviously additional time at the minute. Big wall by Germany as well.
Hell's gone. I'm not saying it. Don't worry. I'm not.
Skied it.
It was
Ravi. Ravi, there's no way I'm throwing a 55-inch 4K smart TV out. Thank you. There's no way.
1 minute 50.
I'd probably chuck myself out the window or something. I've got Ben and Jerry's beside me, so if we do get beat, I'll just
Let me guess,
we go extra time out of it. Oh yeah, like the goat flavour.
No,
come on, argue.
The
come on, in, argue.
Is Fudge Brownie.
Oh, you are wrong.
So nice.
Germany.
Andy,
so wrong.
what Ben and Jerry's do you like?
I don't really have that much, but I used to because it's so expensive. What was it called? Caramel Choo Choo.
Oh, that is a good one. I like caramel choo choo.
Yeah,
I've only tried 3 of the flavors, like the mint one, cookie dough, and the brownie one. I've not tried that one. I don't like the strawberry one.
Yeah, that's all right. Oh, with chocolate, you mean I prefer fruit and chocolate separate, if I'm honest. But oh, come on, yeah. So 2:47, France on the attack.
Come on, soldiers!
But it's not really. But they still look. They're still. Oh, that's a bit of a heavy tackle from onto France. Right, okay. Who's going to get? I'm just going to get a free kick. Yeah. Oh, hello.
Yeah, Roush doesn't pull prisoners.
Another yellow card. Another yellow. Yeah, she's brought it back. Another yellow card. Oberdorf, yellow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's actually. Oh,
that is a yellow.
Would you go further? Would you go further? I don't know. It's a hard yellow. It's definitely yellow.
I don't think it's going to be a red.
If you give a red for the, I doubt it. But
she can. Are they waiting on? It's hard to tell without the check, but I think no. I mean, it wasn't that. It was close. It was definitely it's fine. France have just given up. I think they're just sort of slowly into the box there. Throwing to France. 3 minutes 50 of the 5 minutes added on.
Chloe's got a score right as it stands.
Yes, she has.
Chloe will be happy.
Well, yeah, this is it.
That means she overtakes you in the predictions.
Well, I got the guaranteed goal scorer. Did she get the goal scorer?
Chloe?
Did she?
Yeah, she had.
Right, sweeper keeper there. That's always a bad idea. Handball by Germany by a mile. Yeah, finally been given. That's good. A bit of shit housery around number 8 there, slowing it down so she couldn't get it out quicker. 30 seconds.
That's Oberdorf specialty.
That was a proper. Literally, the ball bounces up and does that. Like it was like one of those textbook. As the keeper should come up. Surely it's 20 seconds left. You've got it. Wendy Renard to take. Which again is a stupid idea because she's actually tall. I know she wasn't taking it like she's taking it.
Unless she wants to score it.
Oh,
I can hit it.
5 seconds.
Just blow the whistle, ref.
I think
they might actually keep it for a bit longer. No, they're blowing it. Germany's in the final.
Right. Well, there you go. Blockbuster. Here we go.
Woo!
Number 11 is just crashed on the floor. Yeah, pops. England v Germany, and of course, I don't know how they're going to do it, but a chance now then that England's going to wear their away kit. Depends on is it a toss? Is it a coin toss? Because it's white, isn't it?
I hope we play in green.
Yeah, I don't know whose classes.
I want us to play in white.
I want the away.
I think we might be classed as a home team based on the weird fantasy league thing tells you. I think we might be the home team, in which case Germany will be in green, as you say. But I don't. But I read something.
BBC were doing England versus Germany or France. So I think you are the home team, so we'll get I think we'll be in the green shirt. You will be in white.
But I'm not sure if they do a coin toss for it as well in some tournaments. I don't know, but either way, it's good. I like that away kit. But obviously, it looks like Holland, but it looks great in reality.
I like it as well. I like your strip, to be honest. I really do. But also, I really like that Germany green one, and I've only seen it once this whole tournament, so I want to see it. I want to see it again.
If England win the Euros, then we would have had to beat the defending champions. One of the favourites of the tournament, Spain, all right, before Alexia and Jenny were injured, Sweden and Germany. So if they do get there, no one can say that they don't deserve it. So
absolutely, absolutely, I agree. Not just that, you've beaten the highest ranked European side, the bookies' favourites. I agree, defending champions. If that had happened, obviously that was the French. The French beat the defending champions. Could have been that, but then you've also got the most successful team in women's European football in terms of Germany, and the record holders of 8. Well, currently 8, depending on what happens on Sunday.
Yeah.
It could be a record extending 9th trophy. It could be England's first.
Yeah, for the Euros, yeah, England's first, and obviously for the World Cup and the women's as well. They haven't won. I think they got a bronze medal. They've got a third place. That's a good point, actually. I didn't notice, but obviously, at least there's no dead rubber game. There's no third place playoff, is there? Is that the same for the men's Euros?
Men's Euros is the exact same. The only way you only get third place at the World Cup.
Right. Okay.
It's just straight up. Well, you've got beaten the semis. Nobody cares about you.
It's true.
That's how it should be.
I agree.
We got knocked out. It's just as simple as that. Yeah. So Germany in the final. As everyone already predicted anyway when we found out Germany was
different game though. I mean, I know I only said 3, but like I kind of thought Germany would boss it. And I was saying that actually, France's only goal was a bit lucky. It was a great strike, but obviously it bounced off the keeper in a really weird way.
I've seen that a few times. It happens, unfortunately, in football. There's nothing you can really do. It's ricocheted off the post and it's hit the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper can't defend unless she's got 6 legs, and she's hiding 6 legs in there somewhere. But like, there's nothing you can really do. But either way, it's the final that we all predicted. It's the final we actually wanted. So
it is. No, it's a final that we all want. I think it's going to be a blockbuster game. Both are attacking teams. I know Germany can defend, as can England. The pressure on England's going to be really, really high. Obviously, sold out at Wembley. It's going to be. I know Germans obviously will be there, but it's going to be very much a biased crowd. So it'll be a really, really interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Helgon's comment. 1 second.
Whilst we're waiting for Reece, what did you think of the game, Amber?
As I say, I think it was a good game. I think it was a different game than I thought it was going to be. They were more equal for bits of it, but Germany looked very strong. France just weren't clinical enough. You're never going to know, but it's possible that Katoto, as she was in, then she would have Katoto would have made the difference, but she's been absolutely.
I really think so.
And yeah, I think honestly, obviously Reece has been trying to look at objective. I look at objective as well. I think it's going to be a great game for the neutral, and obviously a fantastic game for anybody who's English and German. And I think whoever wins will deserve to win. And I think it's going to be the best game for the tournament. Nobody really wants a technical masterclass 0-0. We just nicked someone.
I want risks.
Yeah, I've always. You look at the way I look at club football to the detriment. I like it when you score more than the other people. The sort of 3-2, the 4-3. Rather than the 1-0 or the technical sort of 0-0 or something like that in 90. I definitely think we need to keep it at 90 minutes. I mean, if we go to extra time at Wembley at the final, too much mental strength needed for that. We have to win it in 90 minutes.
Completely
Absolutely.
agree.
And Vince, just to clear up, her third kit's a disgusting green colour. Just letting you know.
Yes, so Germany will face England in the final at Wembley on Sunday as they aim to lift their 9th European title. France's tournament may be over, but they have made history by reaching this stage of the competition for the first ever time.
I was just saying, this is a great thing. They deserve the props for it because you don't know how much longer this France team's actually got in terms of being competitive. It's no disrespect to them, but every player eventually reaches their limit, and then that's it. You look at Renard tonight, as good as she is tonight in certain areas on the pitch, especially in her special area around the box, like for her defensive side, she was very poor. But going forward, carrying the ball, hitting it long, she was excellent. I don't think she was actually playing as a centre-back tonight. I think she was trying to play as a sweeper. She was trying to play in a defensive midfield role, and it wasn't really affecting. I think it's a shame because she is a brilliant defender. Like, she's convinced me a lot in terms of her quality, but it's just a reflection of like this France team is like they've got so many good players. You don't know how long they're going to go. Whereas this Germany team, the oldest players in the team is Dabritz and Margot, 27, 28. The rest of the team are 26 and younger.
There you go. Top scorers: Beth Mead and Alexandra Pop on 6, Russo on 4, and Grace Kyoto on 3 for France. So yeah, it's going to be between Pop and Mead really in reality.
Exactly, Vincent. Our kit's not black, dude. It's green. Like, it's just concept stuff. It's just concept kits are being leaked. It's that green. It's like it's the best description of it. I call it crap, but I don't want to be.
I've seen, well, yeah, I know what you mean. I've seen an orange, like a highlight orange and a highlight yellow leaked. Is that a goalkeeper one? Is it? Like
yeah,
all yellow.
Yeah, the yellow one's goalkeeper, and then we've got like it's a really weird green. Like
I like it.
I'm not a fan. I'll probably end up getting it, but I'm not a fan of it.
I mean, when I first saw the home kit for United, I was like, "This is absolutely awful. What the hell?" And I must admit, it looks better on the women than it does on the men, and it just started to appeal to me. The away kit is great, but I'm old enough to remember the original 2007 one, the white one that looks out. So obviously, it kind of looks a bit of a copy to me, but obviously, it is a different kit. But we were hoping for a better one on the third.
I like Coffey's gone for a 2-1 win for the final. Goals to be scored by Beth Mead and Chloe Keller.
Cool.
I'm not bothered who scores as long as we win.
Exactly. Oh, has he got it? Yeah, the original. Yeah, I remember that one.
Best one is the white one. So beautiful from Ella. I don't mind the away one.
I mean, one of my favourite kits most recently was the current third kit from last season. The blue kit was beautiful, blue and yellow.
Oh yeah, I know which one you mean.
Yeah, I've got all the shirts from that period, including the black, and I've got the blue one with the Super Cup badge on it. I've got them, like I've got all of them, but like I found a really good site that's letting me, like I will be able to get like all the kits, so like that's what I'll be doing. But like, because I got the new training shirt, which is fine. Like, while the black one, like no sponsor, like I got mine like no sponsor on it, but like I'm just trying to think of that in. I'm just trying to see which ones I can get my hands on. I'm actually considering. I've already said it to Maisy. Like I'm not going to wear it, but I'll probably get framed on my wall. I will probably get a German women's shirt, and I'll just get it. I will get it framed.
AFCB Fan TV has gone for a 2-1 to England on Sunday as well. Before we wrap up, do you fancy looking at the ratings for players?
Yeah. I'd like to see which one got screwed over.
So here it is then. Froms is on a 6.
What?
She scored an own goal.
That's harsh, man. Like, even though she scored a home goal, that's harsh.
She still scored her own goal, so
she still made some amazing saves, though. But like, that's brutal.
Rauch is on a 7.4. Hegerin is on a 7. Henrich is on a 6.9. Gwyn is on a 7.4. Dalbritz is on a 6.9.
Yeah.
Oberdorf is on an 8. Magol is on a 6.1. Huff is on an 8.6. Pop is on an 8.7. And Brand is on a 7.5. Would you agree with them scores, Reece?
Yeah, I would. I mean, obviously, an own goal can affect the rating, but Throne made some amazing saves. So she commanded her box. I would have given her I would have given her at least a 6.4, 6.5. But the own goals obviously cut it. I do agree with the ratings. I thought maybe Maggio a little bit higher than that. I think the two that definitely are accurate is Hoof and Pop. Like they were the two best players on the pitch for me. Like the whole game, start to finish. The Germans knew the game plan. The French couldn't cope with them. I completely agree with those ratings.
What do you think of them ratings for Germany as well, Ander?
Yeah, I mean, as Reece, said, obviously 6 for Frome seems very, seems very low. I mean, looking at that, they're saying that the worst player on the pitch was number 19 for France, and I haven't said that with Nikita, and I can't think of anything she's done. There's 5.9.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd maybe Pop's even a bit lowballed there. I mean, she played really, really well tonight.
I think Pop could have got a little bit higher, to be honest. At least a 9, just considering she scored 2 goals, and I think she was absolutely outstanding, tracking back when needed as well.
Yeah, no, completely. I think it's interesting in Renard 7.1. Yeah, I mean, as I say, relatively equal. It'd be interesting to see what the average is of both teams.
Shall we go through quickly then France's as well? Peyonard Magin is on a 6.6. Eve is on a 7.2. Nicot is on a 5.9. Renard 7.1. Carusi is on a 7.1. Bilbao is on a 6.8. Toletti is on a 6.8. Gennaro is on a 6.8. Casarino is on a 6.2. Mallard is on a 6.2 and Danini is on a 7. What do you think about them ratings, Ander?
as I was saying, yeah, I mean, you know, as it's weird to have the lowest only being 5.9. Lots of averages there. I mean, I suppose it sort of mentioned about earlier in the game when things are a bit more equal. Obviously, best player for France being number 22, maybe. Looking at that was 7.2. Renard 7.1, yeah, but you just can't carry the team. And just mention what we were saying about, as you're saying about, how long can France go on? You've got to remember as well that they've got a very eccentric head coach who hates Lyon and Lyon players. I know Wendy Renard plays for Lyon, but I believe there's a reason why she's in. I think it might be because she's literally Wendy Renard. It's like cold dead hand stuff. But Henri, one of the best players in the French league in Europe as well, she was kept out of the squad, not even picked, because she's criticised them. She never really looks at Lyon players. Lyon's the best team in France by a country mile, with PSG getting a bit closer but still away. So a lot of the time they shoot themselves in the foot. So they need to maybe think about, maybe like us a few cycles ago, they have their favourites. You need to play on form, rather than just, you play for X team, so you must be able to play for the national team.
I agree with that. I think if you're picking based on your personal hatred for a club, then that really does detriment. I mean, obviously, as an example, like if I was like, say, the Scotland manager, or if I was a German manager, I wouldn't refuse to pick a Celtic player because I completely despise them. I wouldn't refuse to pick a Dortmund player, for example, or a Bayern player because it's a grudge towards them. But or even if I was the Italy manager, I wouldn't deliberately not pick an Inter player. I wouldn't pick a Juventus player.
Yeah.
If they're good enough and they've actually proven it, they should be in the team. An international manager should not have that sort of bias towards a football club in terms of dislike, because I think that hinders your judgment. It's the same. Like I think it's a fair. I think it's a compromise on your style as a manager. If you're deliberately not including certain teams, it shows that you're actually quite spineless.
Yeah,
And I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. Based on that, I do think the French manager is quite weak. Then, if that's her judgment.
Yeah. I mean, there is a bit. Apparently, Henri did say things, like with Jill Roord and Mark Parsons. Henri did say things publicly or semi-publicly, or made it known that she thought X and Y and leaked a few things. But apparently, generally, Lyon is a club that they don't like.
I think if that's the mentality that she doesn't like, if she doesn't like those clubs, then just go and manage a French club, then, and just beat Lyon. If that's the case, or take over a European club that's in the Champions League every season and just beat Lyon in the Champions League if you can. Just do that. But you shouldn't be, as an international coach, publicly or even not publicly, not taking players from a certain club, because if it had been done in the men's game, you'd get so much more stick. It's got to be equal in the same fit, and I think it's quite. If that's generally the French managers like way on things, then I stand by that comment. That I think she's just generally weak. Then
I completely agree. What we'll do, we'll leave it here now anyway. Hey there, Chris and Helen, who was in the chat as well. But it's been a great watch along. I've really enjoyed it. It's great to have you both on.
It's been good to sit around a bit.
Two great opinionated people who love the game, so it's but yeah, thank you both for coming on. Andy, would you like to shout out your socials?
Yeah, obviously I'm here with Maisy on when we do the women's football stuff, but also at AJO_87, which is my personal Twitter, but mostly more and more obviously women's game and Man United these days, Man United women.
Yes. We'll definitely get you on again soon, because we do need to discuss transfers for Man United women.
And we've got the final preview as well, haven't we, for the final?
Yeah. We'll have to get both of them arranged, because we haven't actually discussed Garcia. We haven't discussed Williams. So that'll be a nice... Maya Letitia as well. 2 out of 3, brilliant. Let's just say. Andy, thank you very much. And Reece, thank you as well for coming on. Would you like to shout out your socials?
Yeah, it's right there. Devils fucking hell. Right there. Devils Rising with a 1. Although I might change that to the 7 for iconic reasons. And it's the same on YouTube. And thanks for having me on as always, Maisy. I really do appreciate these. I've always said it. I'm a love of football. It's always I'm a football fan. I'm not much of an expert in the women's game. I love watching it from you guys because I learn a little bit more. I understand it. I'm not going to come out and automatically say, "Oh, I understand the women's game." I don't. I just love watching football, and the fact I'm getting to watch and learn from the background of people who just generally love the game equally as much as the men's game is great in that sense, where you've got that diverse opinion where you can feed it back, and it gives me a better understanding. So yeah, I do appreciate the content on that as well.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, thank you again for coming on. I'll be next live tomorrow. I'll be doing my Premier League predictions, so you can catch me through there. And as I've mentioned before, if you haven't already, go and join that fantasy league there as well with the code. Hit that like button, and if you're new, also hit that subscribe button. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 o'clock, and take care. Bye-bye for now.